Stay hydrated, y'all. So I was asked a few months ago what happened with the whole foster parenting thing. I wasn't ready to talk about it then because I was still processing the whole journey. But I think I'm getting to a point where I can talk about it a little bit. So we started out with one girl. I'm not going to name any names because that's just a privacy violation for them. So we started out with one girl. Reading her bio on adoptuskids.org, we thought she would be a perfect fit for us because she was artistic. She mentioned she liked to read a lot and she liked to write. And we're very creative, resourceful. I mean, just look at our Instagram. We're constantly doing stuff. We're constantly creating stuff. We thought, great. She's going to be here. We can help her grow as a person. We go through the path classes, and I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are considering being a foster parent or an adoptive parent, if you have trouble getting through the path classes, do not continue the process. That's the best advice I can give you. I started having trouble midway through the path classes. They are very graphic. They put you in every scenario possible, and they try very hard to explain the different processes that are going to happen during the settling in to a new placement, to a new home. The classes don't fully prepare you for the emotional toll and the emotional stress that's going to put you under, or put me under. Let me clarify. This is my experience. This is everything I went through. I can't speak for Melissa. We actually finished and got certified to be foster parents on a Wednesday, and she was placed with us on a Friday. The first 3 weeks were great. We learned a lot about her. She read a lot of her writings to us. She shared her drawings and some of her experiences. And after 3 weeks, she started to unload a lot of the things that happened to her. I noticed that it wasn't really sharing her experience. She was literally unloading. And then it seemed like she was waiting for my reaction. Melissa works a lot. She still works a lot. And she does rover.com. So if you're in the Memphis area and you want a really good dog sitter, look her up. Melissa F. My dogs are my children, or my dogs are my kids, rover.com. That was not a paid endorsement. Melissa was gone a lot. When I say a lot, she was spending maybe 8 hours a day here. And the rest of the time, and there were times when she would have stayovers. So she was gone a lot. And then a month goes by, and it starts to get harder to be around this kid because she never wanted to be alone. I get it. There are some people that need to make sure, especially people who have abandonment issues, they don't want to accidentally fall asleep and wake up and be in a room by themselves. That is very triggering. As a person who needs a lot of time by themselves, I wasn't getting any. I was spending 18, 19 hours a day with her. She talked nonstop. Again, that's just her personality. Fast forward a few months, and things start unraveling quickly. So we discover that she is an addict, and her choice of drug was weed, and occasionally, when she could get her hands on it, alcohol. So we tried to put limitations on her, and that blew up in our faces. And then we discovered that she was a sex addict. And again, we tried to put limitations on her, and that blew up in our faces. A lot of the things she was doing was incredibly triggering for me growing up in a household of addicts and alcoholics. She didn't understand that the things she was doing was very harmful to her. Being 17, she was right and we were wrong. And I was just being a prude. We had trouble getting her to stay in school. We had trouble getting her to do anything. And it just started spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. And then out of the blue, the people that we were going through to be foster parents were like, hey, we have this other girl. Can we place her with you for a little bit, and then we'll find her another place? And we're like, okay, if you're not handling the first kid, don't bring in a second. Well, needless to say, that girl, the second girl that came, she was 14, and she had a lot of things going on with her that we were not skilled to handle. I was not skilled to handle. Again, another kid in the house that needed all the attention and wouldn't stop talking for hours and hours and hours. Literally, I'm not joking about this. Hours. Both of them trying to get my attention, hours at a time, all day long, for weeks. The second girl was with us for just 3 weeks, and we eventually told the folks, we can't do this. The other girl's caseworker actually called them and said she can only be in a one-child placement, so the other girl has to go. Fast forward another few months, and the first girl starts begging us to let her friend move in. And after the third time she ran away, she came up with all these things that was going on with this girl, and none of them were true. We learned later. So we let her move in December of 2018. Yeah, 2018. November 2018. In December of 2018, the first girl runs away. And it was just a massive, massive shit show. Was more of an addict than the first girl. She tried to kill herself after her boyfriend killed himself. Had some spiraling down issues. We tried very hard to be there for her, lift her up, and be what she needed. And then I let her borrow my car. For some of you, this is going to sound incredibly petty, and that's okay. That's your opinion. And I'm just going to lay out my feelings about it. In 2006, I got a Honda Element. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you would have seen my mental trip that I had to take in 2011. And I did it all in that car. And something clicked in me with that car. So I associated a lot of my improvement, a lot of my mental stability that came after that trip to that car. And I continued to fix her up, and I continued to drive her and make sure she had a new transmission, a new alternator, a new starter. She had new tires. I loved this car. And then one day, the second girl was driving it, and this happened. And her story was she was coming out of this driveway. She looked both ways. She didn't see the other car. It came out of nowhere. It was going about 60 and hit her. We later learned all of that was a lie. If you look at the picture, you can see that the entire frame of the car is shifted from the cabin, and then you have the engine compartment. It's shifted. And then there was a hole punched in the engine. So I did some research. In order for that impact to happen, both cars, if she had just come out of the driveway and the car came and hit her from the side, the way she said it, there wouldn't have been any damage on the front first. And the car, from the trajectory and the velocity of the impact, the element would have spun and the other car would have gone forward. I asked a couple of mechanics about this, and they said for a car to have that kind of damage and the other car having their damage 100% on the side, that the one car going this way, no, I'm sorry, 90% of it on the side, 10% on the front. The car going this way had to have been going between 45 and 50, and a car going this way, 45 or 50 at the time of impact. In order for the frame to bend and the engine compartment to shift and a hole punched in the engine block. Okay, so the day of that accident, everybody who knows me, everybody, I let them know immediately I do not talk on the phone. It makes me panic to the point where I can't breathe. I don't talk on the phone, period. I will text you all day long and we will chit chat all day long, but I will not talk on the phone. She knew this and she tried to call me. She also knew that if she was in a predicament and she needed to call someone, Melissa was always available. But she didn't try Melissa. Melissa was not working. She was on a Rover gig. She could have left. She did leave. She said, I've been in an accident. My first thought was, are you okay? And I asked her that 3 times. Are you okay? Do you need an ambulance? Are you okay? And she told me to never talk to her again because I would not answer the phone. And to this day, I haven't. She drives by our house occasionally, and if we're outside, she'll say hi to Melissa, but she'll completely ignore me. We were sued by the other people. Still didn't hear from her. They couldn't find her for a while. They couldn't find her. So we had to give the person handing out the subpoenas for court all of the addresses we knew. And to this day, I'm still the pariah. She didn't take any responsibility for what she did. When we were cleaning out her room, we found opium. We found Smirnoff bottles. We found all kinds of paraphernalia. And she played us so hard. And what really hurts me and still hurts me is that we clicked with her more than we clicked with the other 2 girls. Same sense of humor, same like in TV shows, same like in music, and I let my guard down. I let myself care for her to the point where I was calling her my daughter. In 2-month period, there was an agreement in the house. After you turn 18, you have to get a job. That's not hard. I worked for many years through anxiety, depression, agoraphobia, all of it. And I know that's me. I know that was my ability. She knew that she had to work in order to stay here, and she didn't want to. First girl didn't want to. So we kicked her out, and we asked the last girl, I said, "Do you need to go into therapy? Do you need antidepressants?" "No, I don't believe in medicating myself to not feel." "Really?" And she's like, "Well, that kind of stuff is for you, but I respect that you have to be blah 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 blah." I'm rambling now. The point of this video, this extremely long video, is if you are unable to handle a day without panic attacks, without the depression kicking your ass, or anything along those lines, don't become a foster parent, because those things will trigger you. They will trigger you hard. And it has taken 2 years just to be able to talk about it on my part. Melissa is still working through it. It was hard. During the whole process, I had another minor breakdown. So I'm still recovering from that. There you go. That's our story. That's my story. It's a cautionary tale, if you will. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad it didn't happen in 2020, because I think I would have just stripped naked, painted myself in green, and just run into the forest somewhere and just vanished from the earth and not given a care in the world, because dang. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification button so that you never miss out on one of these very awkward videos. Thank you.